What's up, people? My name is Jeffrey Kaminsky, and today I'm going to be reacting to what I can only hope is going to be the most intense weight room session that you or I have ever seen. And that is because it's coming to us from Carver Hawkeye Arena of the University of Iowa, a wrestling team which has cemented its legacy in American wrestling as one of intensity, hard work, and a physically aggressive wrestling style. And honestly, I believe that's the only way to wrestle, and what I try to base my style off of. You watch guys like Tom and Terry Brand, Brett Metcalf, where they're physically just dominating their opponent, mentally breaking them, moving forward the whole time. As a spectator, that is very fun to watch. It's not like these Penn State guys where they do all this fancy shit and pay off the refs to give them wins. We're looking at you, Max Dean. Look back at that man's first national title run, and you will see the egregious things the refs do just to give that man wins. Louis Dupre of Binghamton beat that man fair and square, and they took that win away. Maybe Jacob Warner wasn't the guy to beat that man, but stuff like that makes me upset. It has been a very sad few years to be an Iowa fan. But I have no doubt that their kind of tenacity is going to show up into the weight room. I'm thoroughly expecting some Tom Plass level shit to go down here. Without further ado, let's get into it. This is like 12 years old, so we're going to see some great camera quality. Nice little warm up.
Down the steps, you got 3 stairs. First one about 60%, second one about 80%, the third one you're busting it out 100%.
So, what's the objective? What are you guys doing?
I see what his coach is saying.
This is a warm up for the strength training, getting their bodies hot, getting their leg muscles firing, getting them ready to go. We're gonna start them off with some pretty heavy, clean exercises. So, I want to get that explosive muscle fibers in the legs firing, ready to go. These a couple of these stairs.
Alright, so we got some big stairs over here, and if you're a wrestler or any kind of athlete, you've done some really intense stadium runs before. This is nothing new for these guys, so that's why it's their warm-up. Probably more than most of us have done as our actual training sessions. Look at these guys, they're grinding. There's one freaking fly that's flying around. I'm gonna get it one of these times. Probably going to cut some of the boring parts of this, because there's some things where there's nothing really to say.
Clean the push press, clean presses. We're going light here, still working into it, getting ready to go. Full blast on max exercises, which would be heavy hang cleans, powerful explosion through the legs, back, and
So, what kind of reps and sets?
these are 2 sets of 10.
Alright, so we got the first problem already. We're talking about hang cleans, a power-based exercise. We're talking about 2 sets of 10. That is not how you do power. Anything below 5 is where you should be for those kind of movements. A lot of wrestlers or a lot of coaches will try to turn these power movements into a cardio event, which is not the right way to be doing it. You're actually training yourself to be slower and less powerful by doing that, because you're not using as much weight as you would if you're doing lower reps on these things. The way that you can train your power endurance, so to speak, and get some cardio while doing these power movements is to do a lot of those sets and just lower the rest time between them. That way you're still doing powerful doubles and triples, but you get time to recover between it, and you have to force and try to repeat that heavy power effort again and again and again.
The hang cleans will be heavy, 3 sets, lower reps, 6 to 5.
Okay, so he's bringing that down as a part of the warm-up. It's still 6 to 5 reps. That's on the higher end of what you want to do for your power-based movements like clean, snatches, whatever. Alright, right here we see another thing that I see with a lot of athletes when they're doing any kind of overhead pressing. And that is this. They're pushing the bar out in front of them. If you see, that's going to bring me forward. Part of this is their shoulder mobility, not being able to go all the way overhead. And part of it is just not knowing that you should be trying to get it over your body. As soon as the bar gets past your forehead, you should be trying to push it back. So with the bars over your body, you can actually support the weight and not have to run and catch it. You could argue with some of these guys doing bodybuilder style things where they're trying to keep attention on the muscles. That's not what they really need though. They need that kind of shoulder mobility to be able to go through a full range of motion, so when they're on a shot, they don't get their labrum torn in half when they get sprawled on. We need strength throughout all those ranges of motion. here we see our boy Brett Metcalf in the background just doing a bunch of reps back to back to back. And when you're doing high reps like that, you kind of have to do that. And as athletes, we're not expecting these guys to be lifting like world record Olympians as specific weightlifting athletes. They just need to be good enough at the movements in order to get the most out of it and not hurt themselves. Honestly, I haven't seen too much bad technique from these guys so far, but let's see what keeps happening as we go.
It's strong, straight bar curls. Good for digging underhooks. Strong, hand-free.
Alright, so here we see some barbell curls, and a lot of athletes kind of stay away from the more bodybuilder style movements, but as wrestlers, as combat sport athletes, the biceps are definitely very important. You know, you're pulling a guy's head, these guys have to be working throughout the whole of a practice, 2-hour practice, 7-minute match. So it's important to do those things. And the little thing you do at the top when they're going like this, the mistake that they're doing is trying to apply it to wrestling. There's a little bit of a gray area, which we haven't really gotten into yet, where if you try to do your sport in the weight room, you're actually going to change those movement patterns and make yourself a worse athlete. But people don't know that one of the things the bicep does, besides just flexing the arm, is actually flexing the shoulder up. So doing that is going to work the bicep through all the things that it's capable of doing.
Explain some of the technique about it.
One more thing just to cover. You see guys doing these, what people will call cheat reps. As wrestlers, they should be using their full body on most of these exercises, especially if they can use heavier weights than compared to just doing it strict. Compared to the muscle fucking some heavy weights and cheat curling. That's going to give them a lot more bang for their buck as far as just power and muscular development.
Yeah, so it's just a thing, any way possible to get it up.
Yeah.
This guy's lift is really not bodybuilding perfect form as far as back perfect, legs are perfect, arm perfect. It's about horsing the weight up. When you wrestle wrestling, you're never going to be in stagnant form. You're going to be moving. Your body's going to be using all muscles to horse that guy around. So really, it's just about getting the weight up. You know, there's no perfect form to it except being safe and not injuring yourself.
Damn right.
4 sets, 2 sets of 8, and 2 sets of 6.
We're using all kinds of hips right here. This is an aside. Brett Metcalf is one of my favorite wrestlers to watch. He kind of didn't have the best time in the senior level, but his college wrestling days, some of the best things to go back and watch if you haven't already. Curls and pull-ups back to back. All right, doing more stuff for our arms right here. So the reason why you do something like this, where you do the curls going into another pulling exercise like the pull-ups, because sometimes, let's say if I'm doing pull-ups and my biceps are taking most of the work on it, I'm not getting anything from my lats or other back muscles. If I fatigue the biceps, these guys are not going to be able to contribute as much to pull-ups, so I have to use more of my lats, and those guys can get more benefit from the movement. But what this guy's doing right here, he's not even engaging his lats, doing these. Obviously, we're trying to go intense here, do a bunch of fucking reps. You're going to have to cheat some of them at some point. You should at least start out those full ranges of motion. Especially because as wrestlers, we need mobile shoulders. So it's important to use something like a pull-up to stretch out our shoulders with our body weight so we can have strength throughout those ranges of motion and not get injured. You're still getting after it intensity-wise, though. That's all you can ask for.
So what does this do for them?
This is just supplementing, piggybacking the straight bar curls with these dumbbell curls, working on getting our underhooks, same thing with the hand fighting, thinking wrestling, all the lifting.
Is there a reason why you piggyback it with the straight bar curls?
Yeah, just to kind of burn the muscle group, you know, get the most out of it. You know, just kind of isolate it for 2 or 3 exercises at one time and move on to a different body part.
So he's definitely got the right idea, throwing a lot of work at the muscles wrestlers need. But what I'd like to see instead is to do heavy freaking barbell rows. That's going to get more weight on the biceps and work all the other wrestling muscles compared to just doing the straight bar curls into those dumbbell curls. Start your day doing those heavy barbell curls with a little bit of body English, just muscle fucking it up. And then afterwards, that's when you start doing these curl things. All right?
Try to max out your muscles potential.
Back lifts. All right. See, he's using his full body in this. This is what we kind of want for wrestlers. These are his old school hammer strength machines that you can't break them if you try to. So you can load up a bunch of freaking weight and just get after it on these. I've used a couple of these over the years, and my goodness, let me tell you, they're freaking good.
Right now they're doing their second back exercise. Pull machine, the lat pull downs. Again, leg attack, bring those legs in, get our opponents offense, get those muscles strong, those back muscles strong. Pull our guys in, pull them in, leg attacks.
So honestly, this is a pretty decent superset. If you're working more muscular endurance in these pulling muscles, if you're doing 2 pulling exercises back to back to back, we are using machines. So that's going to limit the amount of weight that we can really use, and it's not going to work any of the stabilizing muscles that, as wrestlers, we need. You know, it's getting your hamstring, your lower back involved, all your core muscles. You're not really going to get as much of that in these, which is also a pros and the con of these machines, the fact that you don't work those stabilizing muscles. So you can work to failure a little more. Well, you should start out your training session with those free weight movements and then do these things to finish off the muscles at the end of the day.
It's the same type of piggybacking you did with the curls.
Yeah.
It's the same thing for the back now.
Exactly.
Well, just think about like the weight comparisons. Compared to a heavy barbell row that you can just use your full body on. Obviously using your full body here, but how much weight is really on this stack? A lot of like more novice stat lifters after a few months to a year in the gym, they can hit the stack on most machines. So compared to a heavy barbell row you can infinitely scale up the weight on, what's he going to get from this that he can't get from those free weights? Of course, we get some power stuff to try to move as fast as possible. Those are the shoulders. Alright, so we're getting all kinds of stuff into here. So I see him doing some kind of upright rows right here, which a lot of bodybuilders would use to work the back of their shoulders and some of their traps. Let's see if they do stuff to balance out their shoulders, though, when they're doing our rear delt flies and all kinds of stuff like this, because the very nature of an upright row, it kind of puts your shoulder in a dicey situation, what's known as impingement. In fact, a very impingement test that you use to see if somebody has shoulder problems, it's pretty much the exact same thing as that. And I like these kind of upright rows, but not when you're doing them strict. I like doing these with a barbell, like a snatch grip, when you're using your full body and exploding. That way it's putting less strain on your shoulders, but you're still getting the benefits of a movement like that, being able to lift something heavy straight up. When we saw them doing their front raises, I'm curious to see if they're going to do anything for the back. Okay, I guess the video is just going to end there. Luckily, we do have a few more, so let's pull those guys up. Let's see what else we can find. Alright, we're gearing up for NCAAs. Are you geared up? Man, I'm all kinds of geared up. Let's see whatever videos we can pull up for you guys. Oh, this one should be good. Probably going to cut while I'm pulling this up. Alright. This one, Tom Brands led Iowa lift session. This has got to be even better. Here we got our coach, Tom Brands, warming up our guy's shoulders, getting them nice and loose, opening up those pecs. Muscles that get super tight when you're in that nice stance down here. See what we're gonna do. All right, we're doing some curls right off the bat. Man, look at this weight room, dude. All these old freaking this rusty plates. Look at these. They don't do shit like this anymore. They got all kinds of fancy Sornex and Rogue equipment nowadays. So depending on if those are actually 25 kilogram plates, he could be doing almost 185 pound curls right here. I know these guys are capable of if they're using that much body English. All right, I see some stuff in the background that's going to trigger me throughout this video. I wonder if you can guess what that might be. Not really much to say right now. He's just doing these heavy freaking barbell curls. Cheating, getting the weight up any way he can, just grinding through it. He's still getting that nice little shoulder flexion at the top to work the bicep through everything that it does. Love to see it. It's interesting seeing these guys wearing freaking belts, though, when they're doing curls. In fact, everyone here is wearing a belt. And these look like thinner belts, so I'm not sure how much benefit they're really getting besides just some mental stuff, to be honest. That's the kind of stuff you love to hear. And he's still getting more reps. I'm surprised Tom Brands let him put that down. He didn't make him do like 20 more freaking reps. Right to it. Now we're getting dangerously close to doing our sport in the weight room. But like I said earlier, the biceps does kind of raise the arm up, so it's all about how you think about it here as the athlete. Right to it. Turn your hand. There you go. Then I'm thinking of master me going, boom, ah. But no, that's going to get your arms stronger so you can do all kinds of stuff with your underhook. The stuff I'm talking about is dangerous when you see guys doing band shots and stuff like that, where jiu-jitsu guys are in their guard having bands around their ankles and shit. This isn't quite, but it's on the edge and something you should know about. Oh, this is going to be good. He's fighting for it. He's getting more reps after this, too. Man, he's really grinding right here. Have you guys ever seen Tom Platz when he's with that one dude? He's got one barbell and he's pulling it down. And he's just 45 fucking pounds. He's just, dude, a grown man, like 6'5", fucking crying over a 45-pound barbell. Okay, what the fuck? God damn it. Give me a sec. Let me go back to where we were. Here we are. Anyways, shit like that, that's just intense, gets me going. This is fun. That's right, the hardest part right there. And he's still getting more reps. So for you guys, the reason why you'd want to do stuff like that and not just do regular curls but have that hold right there, because those isometrics, they work the connective tissue a lot more than just the muscles. So your tendons, your ligaments, all of that stuff is going to be worked a lot more from those isometrics. That way you don't end up tearing a bicep. One of my teammates in a match in high school actually tore his bicep, I think he said during a collar tie or something. So doing those kind of isometric curls like that, holding that is going to make sure that doesn't happen to you. Or if you're doing deadlifts or something, it'll keep you safe. Make sure you don't get hurt. That applies to any kind of lift you're doing. Throw in isometrics every now and then, it'll keep your tissues a lot safer. Ooh, look at this. So right here we have a thick grip bar. Looks like a makeshift axle bar like you see in strongman. It's a 2-inch thick piece of pipe. It's a lot harder to hold on to, so you're working your grip a lot more. And since it's harder to hold on to, you have to use less weight, which is why it's perfect for a superset like this, where he's going heavy on those bicep curls, and then when his biceps are fried, he can still get some work on this guy because his grip's going to be the limiting factor. The biceps are going to be able to power through that. And as wrestlers, grip is so important. You need that in order to hold wrist, any kind of tie, hold the string, hold the grip on the leg, anything. Oh, he's hitting the third thing in this superset? If you're not making that face when you're training, you're not training properly. And he's getting more reps afterwards. And maybe not all of your lifts should be to this intensity, but every now and then you need that kind of mental check in order to make sure you still have the balls to be doing this kind of stuff. This is why it's so important to have what I call coach lifts like this, where you have the coach making you do all kinds of random stuff for more reps than you probably should be. Maybe it's not the smartest training, it's not something your strength coach should have you do, but that's not exactly the point of it. The point of it is just to make new, places in your head where you know you can push to because you've done this crazy shit where your coach tried to kill you. Back in high school, we used to do something called the Nebraska lift, where you go with a buddy, a lifting partner, and you load a bunch of 25s on the bar, and do all kinds of different lifts, whether it's bench press, deadlift, overhead press, curls, lunges, whatever. And basically, you do as many reps as you possibly can. And you don't decide when you drop the weight, your partner does. So if you have a good partner, you're going to do 5, 10, 15 more reps than you want to. And then he's going to drop the weight, and you're going to go again, all the way down till you're doing the empty bar, and you are literally on the verge of breaking mentally with just 45 fucking pounds. That is the point of stuff like this, to make new mental barriers in your mind, or to break past those mental barriers and set new places where you know you can go. Deep waters that your opponent probably has not done. Yeah, I wish I had a thick grip like this. Do that like a feather. He's getting in there nice and deep and helping the dude get his reps. Alright, here we're doing some seated curls. Really just getting as much as we possibly can to our biceps, apparently. Power. See, he's fighting. He's like, I got my goddamn reps, coach. Oh, we're suiciding out of rows, too? Okay, this is the point of the video where I'm gonna spaz out a little bit. Let's just see what's going on here. Let me back it up like 10 seconds so you can see. Let me know if you see what I'm looking at. let's just think about the juxtaposition that we're seeing right here. Here we have this guy just getting after it, and then in the background we have a dude with a belt, with a pussy pad in the bar, quarter repping one plate. How, as a coach, obviously these guys are doing their own thing apparently, but as a coach, how do you not see that and just slap the guys in the head and force them to do proper squats? And I myself have a bias towards deep ass to grass squats, and there's a reason for that. As athletes, especially wrestlers, we're going to be putting our knees into very dicey situations, which you need to be strong through. Going all the way down through that full range of motion is going to get more for your quads and get those ACLs, all those other things people tear, a lot stronger. Not this shit in the background where it'd be one thing if he's doing heavy weights, doing quarter squats, but he's got a freaking plate on the bar. These guys are just sitting there casually, just oh, whatever. This is back before we had Instagram, but I bet if these guys were here today, they'd be doing that in between their sets. Oh my goodness. You got these guys crying over here, and then you got these guys. Trained by the best. Not those guys, apparently. What's that, 175? So there are applications for a quarter squat, like for basketball guys and track stars where they're trying to work that max explosiveness. But these guys would be a lot more suited off by doing full range of motion, ass to grass squats, gaining that mobility while getting stronger at the exact same time. And probably doing a lot more freaking reps with heavier weights to get this kind of mindset that these guys are getting out of it.
Power through it.
Look at that. It's one thing if the 125 pounders doing that. Okay, that's body weight. But that guy's at least a 97 or heavyweight, and he's probably doing the exact same weights as those guys. That is not acceptable. Seriously, how are you this guy over here, and you hear this, and you're not thinking to yourself, oh man, I should really add some weight to the bar my next set. But he's not freaking doing that. That would motivate the shit out of me. I'm like, I'm not going to show this guy out. I'm a fucking pussy. I'm going to add more fucking weight, lift it harder. I'm going to leave space between the plates so when I go up, they jingle. Alright, I don't know what the fuck happened there. Fuck it, we'll just go back. I don't think we watched this part earlier, I'm not sure. If not, rewatch it, get some more this motivation out of it. That guy's freaking yawning. He's like, oh my god. He's not there to train. What is he doing? This guy's a little quieter, but you can still tell that he's getting after it. You can tell by the facial expressions that he is pushing himself. So this is kind of a similar theme right here that we're seeing with the pull-ups earlier, where he's trying to get a lot of reps, but he's not getting full range of motion. Especially on something like this, where these guys, when we get in our stance, all these muscles get super freaking tight, and a lot of wrestlers end up with rounded shoulders. This is a great opportunity to fix some of that, using our body weight as a weighted stretch on the dip to open up those shoulders. be a lot more productive than just sitting and doing static stretches. This way you're getting stronger and more mobile at the exact same time. But that implies that you're going through the full range of motion, not just doing this stuff. Start out with a good range of motion, then do this shit at the end in order to push yourself mentally and still get more reps done. Look at this. Oh my goodness. And when I was at like my heaviest a few years ago, 225, just all power belly, I could do like 30 of these freaking things at that body weight. So I know this guy, who's probably a lot leaner and lighter this time, can do full range of motion dips for a high amount of reps.
Good deep dips. Those are good dips.
They are? Are you sure?
Good dips. All the way up. All the way up. Come on. Good.
Coach is trying to keep him accountable at least. That's good to see.
There you go. Come on. Come on. Come on. Pull it. Pull it. Pull it. Put your feet up there.
Oh yeah, it's getting the rep by any means necessary. I'd love to see this man and his brother just work with Tom Platz. That would be insane. That would be the collab of the century. Imagine the kind of intensity you could get to in something like that. That's what I'd like to hear right there. Can't even see what he's doing, but you know he's working hard.
If you can, I'm going to add 5 on the side. If you can, I'm going to add 5 on the side. You can do 10.
Alright, so here we have, looks like a hammer strength overhead press machine. I'm still having more bias towards the free weights, but solid machines.
Push through that. You feel that burn, you push through it.
It's a little upsetting they only have one squat rack in the thing, and that's only being used with one plate. And they got a freaking belt in the machine. That is some crazy shit right here. He better be going to the absolute edge of failure if he's doing that. Got to prepare himself before this set. He knows this is gonna fucking suck. If you're not having to pause before a set like that, that means you're not going heavy enough or you're not doing enough weights. I mean, enough reps.
That's what I like to see. All right, right frame of mind again. Increasing the resistance.
It's good to see that kind of mental coaching throughout the reps instead of just being off in the corner doing jack diddly as the coach. Definitely an advantage of this like more personal training right here. Also, there's no music in here either. Did you notice that? They're just raw dogging this shit. The only music is the sound of the metal clanging and these guys just grunting. Not like these days. Alright, so we did lateral, we did that. I already talked about why I personally don't like these.
Straight up. Arms straight, eye level. Arms straight. Come on, come on, come on. There you go. There you go. Boy, explode into it.
I still would like to see those more bent over rear delt flies combined into these guys. Especially because a lot of times we're doing all kinds of pressing movements. We're in that stance, rounded over. Our front delts are usually going to get more developed compared to the things on the side, and especially the back. Should be putting a lot more emphasis there to bring up that weak spot and make sure your shoulders stay nice and healthy. What are those? We need to be locking out those reps. Now he's starting to get a little better. Alright, so I think this one's about to be over. He's walking over to the air, a dying bike. Looks like we're using it just as a little cardio finisher here. Alright, we have one more exciting video to go over here. Let me just pull up the name of it. Iowa weights. See if we can find it here. Here it is. God damn it. At least we only got a 5-second ad. I've noticed whenever you do like YouTube on TV, it gives you like minute fucking
Get a
ads.
couple lifts in here that would help the arena and get some stadium stairs. Just pretty much power lifts. Just push them through, getting that lower back, upper back, and getting that horsepower going.
So in usual Iowa fashion, they're doing some crazy stuff as their warm-up, which is probably something most of us would consider our training session. Doing rope climbs, another great exercise, work that grip. And here we see these guys doing these kind of push-ups, which if you're in the middle of practice and someone's not drilling right and your coach tells you all to do more push-ups in the middle of practice, or else we're I just lost my train of thought right there. Let's think about this. Compared to like if it's something in practice when somebody keeps fucking up their drilling and coach makes you all drop and just do as many push-ups as you possibly can, that's a time to maybe do these kind of reps. If you're just trying to warm up, you need to be doing actual freaking push-ups. Because this should be a warm-up for your actual heavy training. See what we got here. Doing some bench press.
10, 8, 6, 2.
Very original rep scheme right there. We got 5 sets of this going on.
A wider grip, Joe.
So as athletes, obviously we don't need to be as good as world record level power lifters. We just need to be good enough at these kind of movements and not hurt ourselves and to get strong from them. And honestly, I'm seeing not really anything too bad from these guys, just little nitpicky things. Mainly about their grip. I like a closer grip bench, especially for athletes like this where we need to keep our shoulders nice and safe. A closer grip, not this kind of grip, but closer than a normal grip is going to put more emphasis on the triceps and make sure you can keep your elbows nice and tucked, not impinging anything in here. Some other things you might see, which as we're doing more and more reps, you're not going to be able to breathe as well in these, but anytime the bar is moving, you should not be breathing. You need to get your breath, finish your rep, maybe when you lock out, let's rebreathe, rebrace. I know we'll see some of these guys that lift their feet up and do some kind of hip wiggly thing. You should be using your legs to bench as much weight as possible. But like I said, they're doing pretty good right now. Look at that. As these guys are approaching failure, you see that their legs are coming up off of the ground. That means the power from their legs is not being transferred into the bar. Those feet need to stay planted in the ground, hips on the bench, not trying to do all this kind of stuff. That's not going to make you lift heavier. And probably these guys are probably in season right now, so they're probably lower body weights, which is going to mean their bench press is not going to be as strong as it will be out of season, but they're still just trying to get as jacked as they can. Grinding through reps like this.
These last two, they burn out. As you can.
Oh my goodness.
There you go.
Man, it's failure, so technique's gonna break down. We're just talking about in general, those are things you should be focusing on. Alright, we got some 2 plates on here. for 1, maybe 2 reps. Come on. All right, run right into a drop set. Love to see this kind of stuff. Let the dude burn out there. He's starting to do some partial reps right there. Oh, this is some exciting stuff right here. Especially back in these days, it was very rare to see a log. As a strongman, these things are so freaking great. I've done log a few times in my life, and let me tell you, that thing, it sucks the life out of you. Not only is it hard to hold on to, but it's big. It's going to be crushing the life out of you when you're right here. You can't even hold it upright. You can't even look up. You got to be looking behind you in order to hold that thing in a front rack position. Try to press that thing. If you miss the rep, it's going to come back and end your life. So it is cool seeing these guys doing whatever they're going to do with these logs. I'm assuming it's either curls or some kind of overhead press. It's based on the fact they're doing a lot of pressing. But the fact that this log is a smaller diameter just makes me a little sad, because as a man in strongman, you're never going to see anything smaller than a 12-inch log. This right here is what the women would be using. They're pretty freaking strong, but this difference in size of the log is not what I'd like to see with these elite level wrestlers. So as the coach, it's interesting that he demonstrated the little bodybuilding half rep shit out in front of him instead of locking that thing all the way overhead and over his body, over his base of support. But compared to like a barbell clean, this thing is a lot more muscle fucky, because you can just muscle fuck it, for lack of a better term, up there compared to a clean where you got to be a lot more technically sound.
8.
Oh, we're going to straight bar curls too? So honestly, this is a pretty good superset, getting those log cleaning presses, but like I said, I'm still upset about the fact that they're doing these things, having to run out and catch the bar, not even locking out fully. They're just getting a little dip and drive. They're barely even working their upper body like this. The bicep curls are pretty good. We already talked about how you should be using some body English to horse some heavier freaking weights on these. What does that do? We gotta get some full reps there. And obviously, like a lot of people online nowadays, kind of like, not a single rep was done. And those guys are pencil necks. But we still need to be doing these things, especially as athletes, where we need to be training these different ranges of motion and getting strong there. It's the only reason why I bring that up. Like, look at this. How much of your shoulders really working here? Just all legs. Obviously bringing the intensity though. It's definitely interesting seeing these guys do horsecock movements like this compared to just a lot of strength coaches nowadays where they're doing all this sciencey shit. It's good to see them going back and just doing these basic movements and going in as hard as they possibly can on them. That is a good thing on this strength coach right there. The bad thing is some of the quality of these reps, even if they are bringing the intensity. It's going to be a lot more intense if they're doing those full range of motion on these. It's going to be harder for them. That's what we like to hear. I expect nothing less from an Iowa wrestler. this is gonna be good. If your coach ever says to grab some weights and go to the stadium stairs, you know some fuck shit's about to go down. They're getting a whole workout just bringing the weights there. Especially in these stadiums that are just, look how much stairs there are there. 10 times up and down. The great thing about stadium stairs is they're great for building up that lactic acid threshold. You're doing like 3 of those stairs and you already feel like your legs are cement and you can't lift them anymore, but you still have 7 more and you're gonna find a way to get it done. That is a great thing about these kind of exercises. And they got weights too, and he's zooming up there already. A big thing that I kind of think about whenever I've done things like this is to try to stay at a consistent but hard pace to push myself. If you try to go, I'm not necessarily saying that this guy's doing that, but if you go all out on the first couple reps, you're not going to have much left to give, and you're going to have to sandbag those last few ones, which is not good. You want to be able to push yourself at a nice but consistent hard pace throughout all of those reps. They're putting the weights up there, making it a little easier on the way down. That's kind of a similar approach what I would do on stairs, where you burst up as fast as you can, then control on the way down between the walks and stuff. Really get the power out of it by going as fast as you can on the way up. Whipping that calf. You know, it's interesting. The guy said, the strength coach said in the beginning that they're going to hit some stuff to their lower back. I'm not really sure, but I saw anything that really attacks that. You could argue on some of those log cleans, but you're not really getting that much out of that. So obviously you're going to be really fatigued when doing this. You got to take a little break every now and then. Force yourself to get right back up, back to it. It's one of those things where you know it's going to suck the whole time. You just got to grab those balls and do it. Can't be putting those weights down though. Me and my coach would have smacked that dude for that. Man, they're tempting them with this water. They know that they can't go over there to get that. They're probably cutting weight too, or managing their weight, so they know that this thing is just a temptation for them. They gotta get all their reps before they even think about that water. Like I said, you recollect yourself, like, okay, let's go back to it. Don't put the weights down though. Like, oh shit, somebody saw me. So I've done like buddy carries upstairs, and compared to that, this is actually pretty safe. A safe way you can still push yourself to failure and beyond, without risk of tripping and ending 2 lives. You're also probably getting a lot of grip strength by the end of this too. Even though they look like lighter dumbbells, get back up. But by the end, your forearms are probably smoked. So you're motivated to run up those stairs even faster so you can put those dumbbells on your shoulders and let your forearms cool down. Look at that guy over there. Gotta get back up, dude. There we go. If you have never done something like this before, I'd really encourage you to do that, so that you know what you're truly capable of. How many of you guys have pushed to that level before? These aren't just like some schmuck JV guys that don't have the mental toughness. These are guys that have probably done a lot more intense shit than either you or I have before, and they're reaching their breaking point. That probably goes to show how hard they're pushing themselves on these. Well, this guy done finally? Looks like everybody's finishing up right here. I think I shut the camera rolling. I can't just sleep here. I'm not really sure what else we're gonna see out of this video, to be honest. Oh, now I can finally get their water. Let's see if we got anything else good in this video going on. That doesn't look like it. Alrighty, so that is all we had today. Ooh, what is this? Previously watched. That's a good video. You need to watch that. That's kind of the guy that I based. No. Alright, let's not do that. So that's kind of the guy that I kind of based some of this reaction content off, because he does a lot of good content like this. And I felt like I could do my version of that with some intense wrestling stuff. If you'd like to see more of this, let me know in the comments down below. And hopefully you got some good insight from this also. With that, I'll see y'all. Also do all that usual YouTube stuff like liking a video, commenting why I'm stupid, and subscribing for the algorithm, of course.